SVR IAS Academy welcomes you to the Current Affairs online video lectures. CommandIndia.com is our website. Today's date is 23rd March 2016. In today's Current Affairs video lecture, you will see three very important topics which are highly useful for prelims examination. One is bedaquiline. Second, e-waste management rules 2016. Third, World Meteorological Day. If you like our quality of video lectures, invite your friends to subscribe to our YouTube channel and share the video with your friends via WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter and so on. So let's start that today's video lecture. Another expected area for 2016 prelims examination is bedaquiline. Bedaquiline. It is a new anti-tuberculosis drug. It is a new anti-tuberculosis drug launched by Union Ministry for Health and Family Welfare. It was launched as a part of National Tuberculosis Program. As a part of National Tuberculosis Program. Another very important point for the prelims examination is that bedaquiline is a new anti-tuberculosis drug for treatment of multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. It is not used for ordinary tuberculosis. It is only used in cases of multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. When tuberculosis occurs, we used to take first line anti-tuberculosis drugs, which includes 5 drugs. When inadequate intake of drugs occurs, means people usually take 6 months tablet for tuberculosis. But if they fail to take tablet for 6 months, multi-drug resistant tuberculosis emerges, and after that extreme drug resistant tuberculosis also emerged. So to treat the multi-drug resistant tuberculosis, recently Union Health Ministry launched bedaquiline and it made as a part of National Tuberculosis Program. How the drug works? As you may be aware, in biology, for a survival of the cell, energy is required. Survival of the human beings or any other animal or cell level, energy is required for the survival. Energy is supplied in the form of ATP. Energy is supplied in the form of ATP, and ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate. That's not required for our examination. And ATP is produced with the help of ATP synthase. ATP synthase is an enzyme which produces ATP, and ATP supplies energy to the cell. So, bedaquiline, when it is taken, enters the bacterial cell. As you may be aware, tuberculosis is caused by a bacterium called as Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So the bedaquiline, when taken, enters the multi-drug resistant tuberculosis bacilli and targets the ATP synthase enzyme. So because of the ATP synthase enzyme is blocked, ATP is not produced, so bacteria is not getting the adequate energy, and because of the lack of energy, tuberculosis bacteria die. It is a concept behind the bedaquiline's mechanism. Now let's discuss another important topic came in the news, that is cartridge based nucleic acid amplification test. Cartridge based nucleic acid amplification test, CBNAAT. it is a test recently launched by Union Ministry for Health and Family Welfare. These are diagnostic machines for the quick diagnosis of tuberculosis. For the quick diagnosis of tuberculosis within 2 hours. Within 2 hours. This test is very, very important because earlier test used to take many days to confirm whether a person has tuberculosis or not, and earlier test won't diagnose the multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. In India, number of multi-drug resistant tuberculosis so emerging, so we need to develop the test to diagnose the multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. For that, cartridge based nucleic acid amplification test will be helpful to diagnose both Mycobacterium tuberculosis and also multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. The main plus point with the test is that it will help to diagnose the tuberculosis within 2 hours, so that it will help in treating the patients of tuberculosis promptly, and the test can be used in remote and rural areas. There is no need for any sophisticated infrastructure, and there is no need for specialized training to handle this. It is one of the plus point, so it can be used in remote and rural areas. Now let's discuss about E-Waste Management Rules 2016. E-Waste Management Rules 2016. Recently, Union Environmental Ministry has notified strict new E-Waste Management Rules 2016. Before going into the specific details about the notification, let's discuss the status of e-waste generation in India. At present, India generates 1.7 million tons of e-waste every year. India generates 1.7 million tons of e-waste every year. But we have the capacity to scientifically recycle only 1/4 of the e-waste generated. We have the capacity to scientifically recycle only 1/4 of the e-waste generated in India. So 3/4 of the e-waste is dumped in hazardous manner. 3/4 of the e-waste is dumped in a hazardous manner that severely pollutes land and water. So we need a very strict e-waste management rules. In this background, Union Environmental Ministry has recently notified e-waste management rules 2016. We strongly advise you to prepare well on e-waste generation and present drawbacks and various important points of the newly notified e-waste management rules 2016 for IAS exam 2016. It can be asked in prelims or mains examination. The rules for the first time brought in its ambit the management of waste of compact fluorescent lamps, and other mercury containing lamps. It is for the first time CFL and other mercury containing lamps have been brought under the rules. Second important point is that who is responsible for collecting the e-waste? E-waste management rules 2016 for the first time put the onus of collecting the e-waste on producers or manufacturers by introducing a class called as Extended Producer Responsibility Class. Extended Producer Responsibility Class, under which onus of collecting the e-waste goes on the manufacturers or producers. So under the new rules, it would be the responsibility of the producers or manufacturers to ensure collection of e-waste as well as its disposal in an environmentally sound manner. Third point is that under the E-Waste Management Rules 2016, role of the state government has also been defined. Under the rules, state governments have to ensure safety, health and skill development of the workers involved in dismantling and recycling operations of e-waste. Fourth important point is that deposit refund scheme. Deposit refund scheme. Under the new rules, consumers of the electronic or electric items like laptops, smartphones, washing machines, microwave ovens, etc. Consumers will get incentive for handing over the e-waste to retailers under newly introduced deposit refund scheme. For example, if you are using any electronic items like smartphone, laptop, after it gets damaged, it becomes e-waste. So just go to the retailer and hand over your e-waste to the retailer and you will get incentive in the form of money or some other type. So it is called as deposit refund scheme. The main objective of the rule is that consumers will get motivated to hand over the e-waste to the retailers instead of dumping in the streets. Next important point is that the process of dismantling and recycling has been simplified. The process of recycling should be simplified so that recycling of the e-waste would be enhanced. Central Pollution Control Board. Central Pollution Control Board has given the task of giving single authorization throughout the country to dismantle and recycle the e-waste. Central Pollution Control Board has given the single authority throughout the country to give permissions for dismantling and recycling the e-waste. State pollution control boards will be responsible for implementing the rules for managing e-waste in the state by keeping eye on producers, manufacturers, dealers and retailers. Now let's discuss about World Meteorological Day. World Meteorological Day. It is observed every year on March 23rd. World Meteorological Day is observed every year on March 23rd. The theme for the 2016 World Meteorological Day is hotter, drier, wetter, face the future. It is the theme for 2016 World Meteorological Day. Why March 23rd is celebrated as World Meteorological Day? March 23rd, on which World Meteorological Organization Convention came into force in 1950. World Meteorological Organization Convention came into force on March 23, 1950. World Meteorological Organization is an international organization which has membership of 191 member countries. It has 191 member countries. Originally, it was established in 1873 as a international meteorological organization. In 1873, it was established as International Meteorological Organization. Later, in 1950, it became the specialized agency of United Nations. It became the specialized agency of United Nations for meteorology, operational hydrology, and related geophysical sciences. Its headquarters is located in Geneva. Headquarters of the World Meteorological Organization is in Geneva, Switzerland. Another important prelims point is that World Meteorological Organization is a member of United Nations Development Group. United Nations Development Group.